Eric Cantona. He wasn't at Leeds for very long. I guess what I wanted to ask you was, I mean, how good was he? And I guess maybe something not many people have asked you, Tony. How did it unfold for him at Leeds United? I mean, what were the players' thoughts on when he was leaving and getting that sort of lucrative move to Alex Ferguson's Manchester United?
It's interesting. I talked to one or two of them since all that happened, and we have similar views. But I think for me, it was a case of, unfortunately, it was the wrong club for him. At the wrong time. I think Eric was certainly a player that wanted an arm around his shoulder. He wanted to be made feel important. He wanted to be the focus of the team, and everyone would then play off him. Now, Wilco had no one like that. Wilco's teams weren't like that. It doesn't matter who you were. You could be Strachan, you could be Newsom coming in. You were all expected to do exactly the same sort of job. No one got away with anything. For me, that was the beauty of our side. We all worked 110% for each other. It doesn't matter who you were. Whereas Eric, he was French. He played differently, but what a player. I come across Eric when I played for under-21s, England, under-21s against France, under-21s at Highbury. I think we drew 2-2 or something like that. He scored both. And he was a moaning, sulky sod up top who just played in fits and spurts and scored 2 and was brilliant. Then, of course, we know that all the issues after that. But when he came to Leeds, I remember him scoring this goal in training. He scored this goal where it was a full-size pitch, but the goals then were brought up onto the 18-yard lines. So it was a wide but a shortened version. I think it was 8v8. And I think John Lukic threw it out overarm to the right-hand side on about the halfway line. And it was high up in the air, and it's dropping over Eric's right shoulder. So he's running down into the channel. It just gets over the halfway line, dropping over his right shoulder. And in one movement, Eric has volleyed it, first time, straight into the far corner of the goal and scored. The keeper, I can't remember who it was in the other goal, didn't even think he was going to shoot, didn't even move, and it just stood there, and we all stood there. And the thing went in like a 40-yard volley straight into the top corner. Now, if I'd scored that in training, you run around like a lunatic, Eric just jogged back to the halfway line as if, okay, I've scored, we've got to kick off again. I'm thinking, okay, mate, you must be something a bit weird here because, everyone else, we just looked at each other thinking, okay, the guy's got a bit of talent, absolutely. But talent is one thing. It's then, putting it into that team situation. But I got to say, when, in my personal view and memories, Eric was spot on. When he was at Leeds, he trained well. He was a very, very good trainer. Would keep himself to himself a lot of the time. His English wasn't very good. It did improve. It got better and better until he got left out at the side. And then suddenly it disappeared. The knowledge of English just suddenly up and left. And that was Eric, because he could just go sulky and fall out. But for me, I could see all along that he needed to be treated slightly differently. And that's where I think Wilco, his ways weren't like that. And that's where I think there was a clash. For me, that's where the clash was. During our championship, obviously winning year, he came on at times and gave us something extra, like a sub should. Podgy came on and scored. Eric came on and did a couple of bits which helped, as a lot of players did. So I thought it was a good move by the club to get another body like that in to do things that no one else could. But I was surprised, absolutely surprised that he got sold. It was a complete shock because I get it that he wasn't going to be exactly the right type, but you know what? I was happy, and I think the players understood that we could have done that little bit more. And if he only wanted to do 95%, as long as he did it in the right areas and scored, at the right time those incredible goals, then you know what? As a team, as a group, could we be better or not? And clearly the boss thought that we couldn't, and that sort of influence, wasn't the right thing. Then I didn't think that was the case, and obviously he went on, but no one would expect him to go on and do what he did. But of course, in Sir Alex Ferguson, he had someone that made him the Pied Piper. He was the main man up top. The collar could go up, he could stand there, and everyone else would then run around him. But of course, they had some great young players running around him. I understand that, but I just think the circumstances there fitted him to a T that, I'm sure in my head we could have made more of him at Leeds, absolutely.